As many of you know, Joe Biden was foisted onto this country through lies and obfuscation from the Democrats in and out of the press. With his clear, diminished mental capacity, the majority of Americans have come to realize that the Democrat Party has run a big con on our nation over the last 4 years, and that someone other than the brain-dead figurehead has been running this nation into the ground. Many believe that person is Barack Obama, the architect of America's meteoric fall over 12 of the last 16 years. Giving a name to our pain. That's my focus in today's preamble. Barack Obama's occupation of the Oval Office didn't end in 2017 when the Biden-Harris cabal took over. Their corrupt and incompetent government was staffed with many of the left-wing kooks that had undertaken such massive destruction during Obama's 8-year reign. Just how deep does the Democrats' loathing for America go? Well, reports indicated that Obama was the man who insisted that Harris be imposed on America as Joe Biden's VP. Now, let that sink in. He hated America so much, he made sure we were burdened with cackling Kamala. Nobody has been more of an empty suit. No one has been a bigger failure. No one has been a bigger instrument of anti-Americanism than Kamala Harris, except perhaps Obama. Now that Harris has been coronated, not elected, as the Democrats' presidential nominee, like good party apparatchiks, former Democrat presidents have hit the campaign trail in support of all the harm Harris and Joe Biden have inflicted onto the United States. Here's Bill Clinton, in a rare moment of honesty, reminding America about who is responsible for allowing millions of unvetted illegal aliens from 168 countries to invade the United States with no regard to the lives, safety, and security of the American people.
You had a case in Georgia not very long ago, didn't you? They made an ad about a young woman who'd been killed by an immigrant. Yeah, well, if they'd all been properly vetted, that probably wouldn't have happened.
And the architect of our fall, Obama, is out there protecting his investment, Kamala Harris. Here he is claiming he cares about the divisive rhetoric that now sadly defines American politics.
I don't understand how we got so toxic and just so divided and so bitter. And I get why sometimes people just don't want to pay attention to it.
Wow. So Obama doesn't know how our rhetoric got so divisive. Well, I suppose we could look at his word salad protege. After being appointed, not elected, as the Democrats' nominee, Kamala Harris began gaslighting the country that her brand of left-wing extremism and anti-Americanism was all lollipops and joy. But after that little thing we call reality set in, she's gone full scorched earth and negative. Is the joy gone? Or was it never really there to begin with? When over 90% of Kamala Harris's staff leaves because she's a treacherous person to work for, I think those who know will tell you that joy is the last thing that defines Democrats these days. But we don't have to go as far as Harris to find out why our country is so divided. All we need to do is look at this montage from our buddies over at Grabian to see the real architect of the divided states of America.
The House Republicans in particular don't get to demand ransom in exchange for doing their jobs.
That ideological extremism and maximalist position is much more prominent right now in the Republican Party.
I think it's somewhat ironic to see some members of Congress wanting to make common cause with the hardliners in Iran.
You don't negotiate by putting a gun to the other person's head, or worse yet, by putting a gun to the American people's head by threatening a shutdown.
Think about what we could do if a reckless few didn't hold the economy hostage every few months.
It is not a negotiation if I show up at your house and say, give me everything inside or I'm going to burn it down. What we're not for is negotiating with people who have a bomb strapped to their chest. The Republicans have provided a laundry list of essentially ransom demands.
I cannot think of a more potent recruitment tool for ISIL than some of the rhetoric that's been coming out of here during the course of this debate.
They are promoting policies that harm millions of Americans. They're not necessarily cold-hearted. They just sincerely believe that if we give more tax breaks to a fortunate few and we invest less in the middle class and we reduce or eliminate the safety net for the poor and the sick and we cut food stamps and we cut Medicaid and we let banks and polluters and credit card companies and insurers do only what's best for their bottom line without the responsibility of the rest of us, then somehow the economy will boom and jobs and prosperity will trickle down to everybody.
So there's Obama's contributions to civility in our country, folks. These people are phonies, every last one of them. The Democrats spend half their time doing great harm to our country. Then they spend the other half of their time trying to avoid being held accountable for all the harm they've done to us. A vote for Kamala Harris is a vote for an empty suit that is filled by the empty soul of Barack Obama. Frankly, our nation will not survive an Obama fourth term. Consider that when you go to the ballot box, but also remain steadfast to make sure that you hold Democrats accountable for what they have done to us. And by God, don't let them pretend that they are the cure to the venereal disease that they gave the body politic. You know, folks, I thank God for my wonderful wife, my kids, my country, the greatest nation ever. And Americans like you who believe in the truth, the Chris Salcedo Show will never stop fighting for you.
The Chris Salcedo Show, for the news you need to know.